That time I got reincarnated as a demon lord, English, by LordedoMal44. 19 Tempest. I was feeling a slight sense of déjà vu. Goblins and wolves were all around me, all watching me with their expectant eyes, waiting for my reaction as if it were the most important thing in the whole world, totally focused on me as if one word from me could destroy the world. Of course, there was a difference. Now those in front of me were not the hundreds of subordinates from a small village, but the thousands of goblins who had rallied to our cause. It was practically the same one I saw before I left for Dwargon, with the difference that now my subordinates were so many that I lost sight of them in the distance. Even so, I didn't let myself be put off by the kind of look they gave me and instead continued to stare at them along with Rigor, Gobuta and Petulant Coon while grabbing an appetizer they served on the table in front of me and absorbed it into my body, savoring it with my whole being. Of course, the fact that 200 became 13,000 in such a short time left me stunned, but I decided to accept that fact with joy. After sipping the aperitif, I turned my attention to the thousands of faces in front of me again. As expected, all goblins evolved after being named. Now, those 10,000 goblins had effectively evolved into hobgoblins and goblins, although their forms were slightly different from each other because of the names he had given them. At the moment, each of these goblins is roughly at rank B-, a rank higher than what a normal hobgoblin or goblin would attain. Of course, considering the process I went through, it's not a big surprise. After all, instead of just a name, I also gave each of them a last name. It seems that this allowed them to evolve not just one, but two, or is it better, 1.5. Each of them has developed certain traits that set them apart from hobgoblins and goblins that I haven't named, and that trait varies depending on which of the 5 clans the goblin is named after. Members of the Iwa clan have stout, solid bodies, befitting their names, and the members' hair is streaked or dyed a bronze color. This clan was dedicated to the craft of construction, blacksmithing, crafts and, of course, cooking. Even Gobichi, one of the original goblins I named, is also a member of that clan and was the person who cooked the snacks I was eating. The Kiri clan also has members with stout bodies, but this clan has people of all types among them. That's because, despite being designed for combat, some of them have thin and fast bodies, excellent for light weapons and fast movement. In fact, all those in this clan, or at least most of them, have locks of hair as blue as the sea. Gobuman, one of the goblins of the original group that has a wolf as a partner, one who was in charge of helping Rigor, became a member of that clan. After that, the K's clan, which is mostly made up of people with slender and thin bodies. They don't look very strong, despite their well-defined arms, but their lack of strength for close combat is made up for by their ability and accuracy. They were chosen to be our country's hunters, which made me have to increase the number of bows and crossbows by 2,000. By the way, Haruna, who I thought I could put as my secretary, decided to join that group. It was interesting to see her white hair gaining golden streaks, like the others in this clan. The other clan that has members with slender bodies is the Kumo clan. I had chosen them to be scouts in battles, spies in enemy kingdoms, and in the event that I ever achieve peace in my own nation, which I believe will take a while to happen, they would serve as policemen who watch over everyone, from the shadows. All the members of the Kumo clan have a slender body and, even if slightly, their presence seems smaller than the others. In addition, they have grayish streaks in their hair, which is very reminiscent of clouds in rainy weather. And for some reason, the sage insisted that I put Gobuzu in this clan, but whether he's a future stalker or not, I'm still not sure. Lastly, the Konoha clan. This clan was made to control the production and circulation of resources within my country, but they would mainly be geared towards production, agriculture, livestock, fish farming and anything along those lines, all with the aim of increasing our reserve of resources and taking care of legislation. To be honest, this group is the weakest in terms of combat, but I chose them because their members have proven to be good in other areas. They handle the legislature, executive and judiciary, after me of course, and they are the most peaceful group and, at the same time, the largest of the clans I have created. Also, even though the strength is not as great as that of the other clans, the Konoha clan has demonstrated greater intelligence, making up for this factor. And, of course, Rigor, as the Goblin King, leads all the goblins. He is my prime minister, and his main mission is to reconcile our decisions with the other clan leaders, with each clan leader being a goblin lord by definition. Less than explanation for those who are too lazy to research. Konoha means wisdom, perfect for a more peaceful clan dedicated to administration. Kaze means wind, but is related to free things or freedom of movement, perfect for archers. Kumo means cloud, and so it was a good comparison to illusion, which I thought suited a spy clan with skills equal to Sue's. Iwa means solid, and nothing is better for identifying a clan of blacksmiths than that. Kiri means cut, which I thought would be perfect for a clan dedicated to swordplay and battle greater than. There was a hint of pride in my heart to see how my group of subordinates had grown so much in such a short time, of course accompanied by a certain anxiety about all the craziness about being a demon lord I was constantly selling out to others and myself. Still, seeing my subordinates so confident in front of me, there was no way I could feel anything but more determination in order to complete my objective. I was proud of them, now it was time to make them proud of me. Guys, I'm happy to see everyone here, evolved and healthy. Our dream, the dream of forming the Goblin Empire, is no longer just a dream. Even few, today our dream is becoming the reality we fight for. Smiles appeared among the audience, apparently motivated by my words. I thought that kind of animation was good, but it was too soon to celebrate anything. After all, our real difficulties start from now on. This little village where our dream was born. The time has come for us to leave this place. Everyone looked taken aback by those words, but I could see nods within those in the crowd, including among the villagers themselves. It was just natural, the village couldn't contain that many and there were much better areas where we could build our home from now on. Well, I still felt bad for my first goblins, but I had an idea of where I wanted the capital of my empire to be, and I'm sure they'll like it too. This place has become too small to contain our dream. So, pack your things and let's go. The difficulties will be many, but just like them, the great rewards are what will await us from now on. Our home in a place worthy of being the pillar of our grandiose dream. It probably wasn't the best of speeches, but my subordinates looked excited the moment they started to leave. Everyone went to get their stuff for us to move into our new home. Meanwhile, the only ones who stayed close to me were 4 people. Those 4 were Rigger, Gobuta-kun, Gobuta-kun's girlfriend currently out as they asked me for their blessing, although I still haven't responded, and Petulant-kun. All 4 were looking at me with apprehensive expressions, with the exception of Petulant-kun, who looked as calm and petulant as ever. So, Rimuru. Where will our new home be? It will be a surprise, Petulant-kun. But I think you shouldn't take long to find out. Petulant-kun's insight is great, so as soon as we get close enough, she'll understand my train of thought. I don't doubt she'll find out before any of my other subordinates. And then, an uncomfortable silence fell. Everyone wanted to ask something, but they didn't have the courage to do so. This pissed me off since I'm not scary at all, so I ended up speaking in a slightly louder and firmer tone than usual. If you want to ask something, ask, I won't get angry, even if you say what you think without holding back. I'm a fluffy slime, but them acting scared around me will destroy my cute image. It took a few seconds, but Rigger took the lead before the others and prevented them from speaking at the same time. Rimuru-sama, did we displease you in some way? Did we do something wrong? No way. Then why weren't we assigned to one of the 5 clans like the rest? I understood his feeling as soon as I heard him talk like that, half betrayed. Looking back, I remembered when I did a job with a friend, and she convinced me of the job because she was very tired, or not feeling well. As we had been friends for some time and the work was a duo, I didn't mind helping her that time. When we delivered, she had changed the job names. She and her boyfriend received the notes, and because of that I had to do replacement work. I could never forgive her for that. What I mean by that is that I understand what it's like to do something with all your effort for a person and then suddenly, instead of being rewarded, being stabbed in the back and betrayed by the person you trusted. For that very reason, I will never do that with my subordinates, with my friends. The reason is simple. You will not be members of an ordinary clan. You will be members of the most important clan in our empire. The Tempest clan. My own clan, my own family. The 2 of you are goblins who have excelled a lot. Rigger, you brought all these goblins here, and Gobuta, you have great potential, and it's because of recognizing that potential that you were chosen for this clan. I'm not lying, okay? I recognize Gobu-Dakun's potential, okay? That's why I will give him a high position, as well as training that will qualify him for this mission. Members of the Tempest clan should be able to do everything. Ha 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 ha. I trust he will be able to. After that, my eyes fell on Gobu-Dakun's red-haired girlfriend. And you, who are in a relationship with Gobu-Dakun. You will also be accepted as a member of the clan, but do you think you can fulfill my expectations? If not, better stay away from him. I will fulfill your expectations, sir. Gobuda's girlfriend said this, so fast and so loudly that her green skin turned red with embarrassment. Still, it made me smile, a little amused by it all. I would be sad to separate these two, you know? It is not right to separate a couple into different clans, and this is even greater for the Tempest clan, which is full of responsibilities. That's why I had to bring her into the clan. Not because I want to make this couple who are in love all the time have the hell of training together or something. I'm not that sadistic, okay. Ignoring Rigur, who was crying, and Gobuda and his girlfriend, who held hands the entire time, I completed the process. Rigur Tempest, Gobuda Tempest and Akami Tempest were the first 3 members of the Tempest clan, after me of course. With that settled, the 3 left to prepare their things. That left me alone with a certain petulant coon who approached me with a still smug smile on her face. See if you give me a nice name, okay? Did you repeat some of the names, just changing the clan, or do you think I didn't notice? If you're going to give me a name, be original. Well, that's true. To reduce the number of names to choose from, I asked the sage to make a list of names and agreed with the clan, so some names were repeated. As the smallest clan has 1,000 people, that would be the Kiri clan. The names of that clan must have been repeated at least around 5 times. I looked at Petulant Kun's smug smile, and then, as if a light bulb went on in my head, the answer to her request came out of my lips. How about? No names. After saying that I didn't wait for an answer, I just went to my cabin. I didn't have anything to collect. Everything I have is inside, predator's stomach, but I didn't want Petulant Kun complaining in my ear. Why didn't I name Petulant Kun? Well, our relationship is strange. Even if we are close, she will only serve me until I find the person who can revive the dead, so to name her would be to arm one of my future enemies with a powerful subordinate. After all, if there is someone raising the dead, it must be a hero or a demon lord. What? Afraid that her magicule count will increase even more, afraid that her skills will get stronger. What an outrage. I'm not afraid of anything. You heard, paranoid voices inside my head. I just don't want her to leave after getting stronger like someone leaving a party after eating. Also, this feeling that I know her from somewhere is starting to piss me off. The distance we had crossed was not long, but due to the 13,000 and the luggage people were carrying, the journey took a while. Despite that, thanks to the magical beasts among us, everything could be carried easily and we arrived in front of the mountain before dark. The mountain where I was born, where Veldora's seal remained for years before he escaped. Rimuru-sama. Are you sure we should come here? This place is where Veldora-sama was sealed away for years. It's a holy place. I looked at Rigurdo, who was asking this with an uncertain expression on his face. In fact, everyone except Petulant, who was frowning at me, had worried expressions on their faces. Well, it's only natural considering that this place is where Veldora was. A place that to forest dwellers is practically a deity. With all the power he had, whether he was an intelligent being or not, everyone feared this place. Still, that just made me want this place even more. After all, that was exactly why I wanted the place. This place is where Veldora was sealed, a symbol of the power of monsters that was defeated by human hands. But at the same time, this place is also a symbol of our new ascension, and you know why. Everyone shook their heads, confused and expectant about the answer. Even Petulant Kun, who was angry with me for not giving her a name and wouldn't talk to me, was hoping for a reason. Of course, I could feel her understanding slowly, seeing how her eyes began to open. Why am I here? Before leaving and disappearing, Veldora left you one last gift. He left me here for you. He left me in this forest and that's why I'm going to take care of this place. Today, we became the Goblin Empire on the foundations of what Veldora left us. He was the one who made this dream of ours possible, but this is not the end of our journey. I crave much more than that. This entire forest will belong to me in the future. It will belong to us in the future. To all the races that live within it. living side by side and fighting together. This is the mission I swore on my own behalf to fulfill, to build a nation of monsters that will never be overthrown. That's why right here we're going to build our nation's capital, Tempest. In honor of Veldora, who made it all possible, we are going to build the capital of the Tempest nation, Rimuru, as well as Veldora Castle, in this very spot. This will be our capital. Everyone let out an excited cry at my words, now happy to build our city here. Perhaps because they saw the city as a way of honoring the dragon, they now see no problem in building the city here, with the mountain as the center. Veldora was feared enough that 300 years after being sealed away humans, the short-lived race, still remembered him and feared him. It could be said that his very name, at least a little, already contained some power. Veldora, because of this, became a symbol of fear and what monsters were to humanity, to the point where the religion that hunts monsters, Rumanism, seems to be based on it. Honestly, it's a little frustrating. To be considered really strong, I would have to overcome the fear that Veldora caused. In a way, I already had expectations to live up to if I wanted to break into that high power range known as the catastrophe class. Still, I felt more than motivated to keep going. Although I still don't know if I would be able to harm humanity indiscriminately, the feeling I feel for humans isn't enough to make me back down. Strength, power, subordinates, cruelty. If any of these requirements are necessary, as long as my feelings are in agreement and my subordinates are not against it, I can go ahead and do whatever is necessary. We will not deny dealings with humans, but we will retaliate with force if attacked. This is just justice. That's a demon lord. This is where our kingdom will be born. The first few days were difficult, but then things got back to normal. As it was late, I combined predator and earth manipulation to create temporary earth and wood houses, using part of the trees in the region as raw material. This same raw material was used the next day to build the first houses as a mission for the Iwa clan, but on our first day they protected us from the cold. I instructed the basics of the basics for the Iwa clan on how to build houses, and thanks to the new skill I requested from Unholy with the accumulated energy, it was easy. They picked up the information pretty quickly and, without needing anything else, they started building perfectly on the terrain that I had leveled with my earth manipulation. With the Iwa building everything easily, I started teaching the basics to the other clans and, in less than a week, everyone was doing their jobs without errors. All the necessary houses and warehouses had already been built at this point, so I could teach everyone without difficulty. The K's clan quickly learned how to use a bow. As only a week had passed, they weren't masters, but there were already clan members who were capable of hitting a target 50 meters away, and Haruna could do it even if he was on the move, just like Rigor, so the hunts had excellent results and the sheds where they were dismantled were full. Also, they had no issues with the mounts, and each was chosen by the mount itself, which ended with Haruna and Rigor, who already had their wolves, riding on Stormstar wolves, extremely powerful Ranka monsters. The Kumo clan had begun reconnaissance and patrols, both inside the city still under construction and in the surrounding forest, all in order to avoid enemy attacks on the back of our necks and the discussions getting out of hand. Of course, everyone struggled to follow the rules, but when Ranka monsters fight over meat, it's best to have someone nearby to stop the fight before it gets too hot. Their presence, which was already small, disappeared almost completely. In fact, sometimes I see one or the other of them transparent, but when I wave at them, they wave back at me, so I don't worry, although whoever is with me always wonders who I'm waving at. The Kiri clan had already begun their training, but unlike the other clans, they were a war clan. Swords, axes, spears, bows, shields. They used all kinds of weapons without even thinking about it. Although their proficiency was not as good as the K's with a bow or as the Kumo with kunai and dagger knives, they were excellent fighters with more than enviable physiques. Although not everyone had a mount, the strongest among them were allowed to have their own mount, and Gobuman was the one who won at the top, with Stormstar Wolf himself as the strongest of the group. Lastly, I started teaching the Konoha clan, which was closest to the Iwa clan in terms of work. As they were more connected with agriculture and livestock, we started their lessons, but the results will only be seen in a few months. Even so, if everything goes according to the sage's predictions, in a few months we will have enough resources not to worry even if an ice age begins in this world. Honestly, since 3 of the clans are combat-oriented and the Iwa clan is always busy with something, seeing a clan like the Konoha, who are more laid back and take care of simpler jobs, made me feel a lot more relieved. I might want to be a demon lord, but seeing my subordinates acting violent all the time would be bad, so I made sure to have days off planned for all subordinates. Still, spending time with the Konoha clan when you're looking for a time without violence was a good pastime for me. Despite that, my main job in this principle was to teach everyone, so after I ensured that the Iwa had started blacksmithing and other side jobs, once the townhouses were initially structured, I started teaching others to fight for them to become even better, considering that our future enemies will be very strong. I asked the sage to recreate martial arts from the land from the sacred texts, based on the manga and anime that had real martial arts, and I asked him to adapt not only to goblins, but also to this world. He discovered some interesting secrets in the process and it would make my subordinates much stronger, but I decided that I would teach this last one little by little as I still wasn't sure I could use it myself. But as with the information the sage had gathered I already had enough, I didn't have to worry too much about it. All I had to do was get my new skill to work. What is my new skill? Unique skill, Grandmaster. Although it cost all my accumulated energy, thanks to this skill I was able to teach my subordinates much more easily. With the description of the Grandmaster skill, all the information of the things I see and learn is imprinted in my head exactly, so that I know exactly what I should do. Combined with mastering, I can see my mistakes and how to fix them, and once I fix a mistake the hit is etched in my body so I don't make the mistake again. Lastly, teaching allows me to pass along the information described in my head with the same level of mastery as I do, although how much a person will be able to use depends only on their own talent and dedication. Honestly, I wonder if I really don't have that lucky skill, and if I don't, do I really need it?